Well, we're the GaZcast, but like it's just Gabe and Zach on a cast. We just like a cast of characters.
Hey yo, welcome to the GaZcast. It's your boy Gabe and Zach. We're here casting. Man, it has been crazy week. We dealt with some snow. The snow melted, and we're back working. I guess things are back to normal, or as normal can be for 2021. We are going to start with some NFL today because we've been having some interesting news. We've had some opt-outs. We've had some news from certain quarterbacks that they want to leave. Fly, Eagle, fly. No, it's a different bird. We'll start with the Seahawks. Russell Wilson saying that he might want out of Seattle. He threw out some teams that he wouldn't mind being traded to. Basically, Wilson started out hot this year. Started out as basically the favorite for MVP based on his start. And then it kind of like slowed down. And then we saw the end of the year in the playoff game after that offense was basically stifled by the Rams defense. He had some words for his offensive coordinator. The offensive coordinator ends up getting fired, saying that, it wasn't as creative as he wanted. He's been there for 9 years, right? He's been there since 2011, correct?
Since 2012.
Okay, so 2012. So he's been the quarterback for that team for 9 years. Maybe he hasn't seen any differences in his offense. He doesn't like to play as conservatively as they like to. So he's taking issue. We might see Russell Wilson in a new jersey next year. Zach, what are you thinking? Is the power scales just tipping in the NFL? Like, what is going on?
Basically, we've seen this in the NBA, like every Tuesday. Like a player says, "Hey, I don't want to play here," and they're like, the ownership's like, "Dude, we can't trade you right now," and he's like, "All right, like I don't want to be here," and then they get traded. It's like 90% of the time they get traded and basically to where they want to go. So it makes sense that the most position in football, a superstar quarterback can do this too, but it just hasn't been that way. Ownership just had more power with it. But it makes sense that it's happening. But that it's Russell Wilson is kind of confusing to me. Like, I get it. Like he wanted to be able to throw the ball more. And they did that. And their defense was terrible when it happened. And you could say, hey, maybe Pete Carroll could figure out, like, get a better defense out there. But then the offense, like, died. Like, I don't know what happened. Like, Russell Wilson was turning the ball over, which he never has. His third down conversion rate was, like, one of the worst in the league. Like, just very weird things happen. But then they fire the offensive coordinator. So, like, I've heard he's asking for a better line. And he was upset that one of their coaches, like a 70-year-old coach, got re-signed and he didn't think he should have been re-signed. I don't know. But like I've been hearing there's a good chance he gets traded, and that just really surprised me. I don't think he will get traded. Like that's what I said at first. I was just like, all right, I don't think so. But I don't know. It's 2021 and it's power. So if Russell Wilson gets traded before Deshaun Watson, I think that's just shouldn't happen. Like that shouldn't be the case, but it might be.
Dude, that would be nuts. And you know what? That would probably be the best case scenario for the Houston Texans. The Texans, they have dropped some guys. They didn't re-sign J.J. Watt. I think they're trying to clear out cap space. So are they just going to go for the tanker? If that were to be the case, then they would get back a fantastic asset in Russell Wilson. Just want a trade-off. That'd be nuts.
I don't think that's possible because we've seen what Russell Wilson's come out and said. Russell Wilson has said, hey, I want to go to maybe here or here or here or here. Like, he said Miami. He said maybe Oakland. He said maybe the Jets, the 49ers, the Saints.
He said Cowboys, like right?
The Cowboys. Yeah. That one makes more sense. But he's not going to Houston. And I know Deshaun would be like, oh, shit, I'll definitely go to the Seahawks. But, like, Russell Wilson has power, and he's also in a situation that doesn't suck. Like how many games? The team won like 11 games last year. So like, say
Yeah.
what you want. I'm sure he would like to be traded, maybe to a better situation, but he doesn't want to get traded to a worse situation. So I
Yeah.
don't think
No.
that trade's possible. But Dak Prescott, they franchise tag Dak Prescott, or they sign him to a long-term deal because Russell Wilson does have a no trade clause. So does Deshaun Watson, but Deshaun Watson feels like he'll take off his no trade clause for about any trade. So what if the Cowboys say, hey, we don't think Dak Prescott's our guy. Let me trade Dak Prescott and a first-round pick for Russell Wilson. Or maybe another starter. I don't know what the exact value is, but like if the Seahawks were actually looking to trade him and they want to run the ball, like Dak Prescott fits that build of, hey, we want to run the ball and Dak makes some plays with his legs and Dak be a conservative quarterback. That more fits Pete Carroll's style, you know?
Yeah, no, that would be, I was going to say that. So the Dallas Cowboys, they have dealt with some, I guess, some contract issues because they came up, whenever you have a great young team, eventually you're going to have to pay these guys. And even if you don't feel like Dak Prescott is worth the $40 million a year or whatever he's like demanding, basically, I think that there is a case for Russell Wilson being a quarterback that is. I think Russell Wilson is a top 5, top 4 quarterback. And if you're not going to pay a top 4 quarterback that kind of money, then who are you going to pay that kind of money? So maybe you sign Dak Prescott to that and then trade him.
Yeah.
Russell Wilson in that, I think that'd be a win-win for both teams. And Russell Wilson in a Cowboys uniform, what a way to shake up America's team. Like, holy
Right.
smoke.
And Jerry Jones will tell his coach, hey, like, we're trying to score a bunch of points. Like, that's what they did. They let Dak Prescott throw the ball whenever he wanted. And yeah, it didn't work really. They were always down, and the Dak came back, but it was kind of meaningless stats. But maybe Russ could win with that team. I mean, we saw Zeke decline
With
in the
those
second half
weapons,
without. Yeah, exactly. And like, he's gonna draft more guys. Like, when they drafted CeeDee Lamb, everyone's like, that doesn't make a lot of sense. They have no, it doesn't matter. Like, some teams are like, we have 2 good weapons. You know what's better than 2? 3. They'll probably go sign a tight end. Like, they'll give Russ whatever he wants. Basically, it's America's team. He's going to be on TV every day at 3:30. Like, it can make sense. But the Seahawks, are they going to say Dak is going to be our guy off an injury? And like, is that like first round pick difference enough? But it would be better than if they don't believe in Tua or they don't believe in Derrick Carr or someone like that. It's definitely a better like chance that Dak hits than one of those guys, I think.
definitely. I think the Seahawks, Cowboys, Dak for Russell Wilson, that's the best case scenario. I mean, obviously, I guess the Seahawks, Deshaun Watson would be better. Actually, let's get into this because I've been having these discussions the last week or so. People have said, is Deshaun Watson really better than Dak Prescott? Now, I think Deshaun Watson is way better than Dak Prescott. I think Dak Prescott has had some success. He has. His first year going 13-3, but I think that he was basically a glorified game manager his first year. He didn't throw interceptions. It took him like 4 games to throw a touchdown. And then he finally just started coming along. But Deshaun Watson has been fantastic out of the gate. And I think Deshaun Watson can still get better. So I don't know. What are your thoughts? Am I crazy thinking Deshaun Watson is better than Dak Prescott?
I'll one up you here. I think Deshaun Watson is better than Russell Wilson. And I think Russell Wilson is clearly better than Dak Prescott. Like, Russell Wilson is top 5 quarterback. I don't know, like one of those two. Deshaun Watson, I think, is a top 3 quarterback. And Dak Prescott, he's somewhere between 8 and 12, 13, something like that. He's usually been healthy besides this year. So, like, people say availability is the best ability, and it's not, but it's a thing. So, like, he's been available. He can run. He seems like a team guy. He's He has a lot of intangibles, and he's a good quarterback. But he's not a great quarterback. And this is the whole thing is the Cowboys know this. The Cowboys saw what happened. The Eagles signed Carson Wentz to a huge deal. The Rams signed Jared Goff to a huge deal. And yes, you could say Carson Wentz had a terrible last year. But Jared Goff wasn't bad last year. Jared Goff was just what Jared Goff was. He was just a guy. But when you pay a good quarterback or an average quarterback great money, what if we pay Dak and we don't win a Super Bowl? Like, what if – because whenever you sign a quarterback, it's like, all right, you're paying this much money. But the next year, a little more money. Next year, it's a little more money. And so it's like, if this dude's not getting better, then we're just going to have to say, hey, our defense sucks, but actually we're going to have to lose defensive players. Our line has sucked the last year, and now we're going to lose linemen. Like, it doesn't – if you think your team is going to win 9 games with a superstar quarterback, then don't sign that superstar quarterback. That's what the Cowboys are thinking. So –
no, facts.
But
dude.
Russ or DeSean is worth that money, like 100%.
Yeah, no, definitely. I definitely agree. I think people point at the win-loss record for Dak Prescott versus Deshaun Watson, and they say things like fair points that Deshaun Watson had DeAndre Hopkins, Will Fuller, guys like Brandon Cooks. I mean, he did have some weapons, but he also had a team. Let's be honest here. Bill O'Brien, I don't think that he's a terrible coach. I think he was a good coach. But whenever your coach, GM, whoever is willing, not only willing, but actually, like, this actually happened in reality, traded away basically the best receiver in football in DeAndre Hopkins. Like, it wasn't even just like a thought that just went through his mind, like, maybe I'll trade DeAndre Hopkins. He actually traded DeAndre Hopkins, but not for anything great. A running back in David Johnson and a second-round pick. I gotta go.
It doesn't make sense.
And it's well, how
he didn't tell, like, there were thoughts that Deshaun Watson was pissed when they hired a GM without telling him. And if they told him, hey, we're going to tell you when we hire a guy, and they didn't tell him, that's wrong. But maybe Deshaun Watson doesn't need to be in every interview room when you're interviewing a GM, because that's not his forte. But I can tell you, he needs to be alerted when you trade his number one weapon, because those two worked perfectly together. And we said he had weapons. He had DeAndre Hopkins, but at that point, Will Fuller couldn't stay healthy. And then when he had Will Fuller and Brandon Cooks, it was an older Brandon Cooks. He's still good, but nothing great. But if you don't tell him that you're going to trade DeAndre Hopkins and say, hey, okay, you must be getting like a young receiver back and picks. You get an old running back. Like, since when is trading for an old running back ever a good idea? It's never been a good idea.
Never, not once.
If you want to tell me you trade for Derrick Henry today, I can argue it's a good trade. That's about it. That's like the most anomaly answer you can do. And even at that point, Derrick Henry, if he just beats the entire system and just literally says, NFL, like, I'm not a human, he might have like 3 more great years. Is that that's like best case scenario? Like, I mean, I'm not doubting the dude, but like, that would be insane if he's 30 years old, like leading the league and rushing and so like that. That'd be insane. But like, besides that, but this was David Johnson, who sucked the year before that. Like, he was terrible. Like, there was a video on Twitter of him running like 2 miles an hour. They're like, this dude's an NFL running back. Like, you don't pay someone for what they did in 2016 when it's 2020. But DeAndre Hopkins, Bill O'Brien basically came out and said the reason we did that was because we thought DeAndre Hopkins had too many baby mamas. What does that have to do with football? I want to know. I genuinely want to know what that has to do with football. Because DeAndre Hopkins is elite. So yeah,
apparently elite in multiple fields.
apparently he is producing in all the ways possible. But yeah, he needs to get out of there. And like, please trade him. I think he's going to sit out. If they don't trade him, I think he sits out. I think he says, I'm going to sit out until you trade me. And unless they want to sit there and not pay him for like a year and a half, they're going to trade him. But
Yeah, no,
right now they seem like, hey, we're not moving this dude. Like, we're not. But did you see the, like, I don't know where it came out from. It could be totally false, but somewhere in the Seahawks camp or Russell Wilson's camp came out and said the starting price for Russell Wilson would be 3 first-round picks. I haven't heard anything about Deshaun Watson's price. So maybe Russell Wilson is closer to being traded because there is some kind of price tag out there.
Well, and honestly, would you be willing to pay that price? Because if the Seahawks came to the Patriots and was like 3 first-round picks for Russell Wilson, we'd be like, done.
Yeah, because here's the thing. Patriots are going to – where are the Patriots picking this year? They're picking pretty high, right? Like 10, 12?
I think we're like a top 12 pick.
Okay. So you give up your number 12 pick this year, and then you get Russell Wilson. So he makes you at least 10 picks better. So you give up the 22nd pick the next year. And then if your team goes again, you're like the 28th pick the next year. So like you're giving up a late first-round pick, a decently late first-round pick, and a mid first-round pick for Russell Wilson. And that's like the Patriots scenario. Like most teams that would trade for Russell Wilson are already like good around him. Like if the Colts were able to say, hey, we'll give you our 20th pick this year and then basically our 32nd pick and 32nd pick the next year, like that's just like a no-brainer. We throw in a defensive starter like for that. Like it's a lock.
No, definitely. Well, other quarterback movements. Do you think we'll see Garoppolo move? Do you think we'll see Cam move? Is Cam coming? Well, I think Cam is going to come back this year. Do you think we see Derrick Carr moving? I believe so. I think Cam is going to come back this year. He's extra motivated this year. He was
extra motivated last year. That's what he was extra motivated last year.
Oh, I know. I believe the hype. I was riding on Superman's capes, man. I did straight into doomsday.
Genuinely, I hope Cam Newton comes back to Patriots. I like that. Maybe they figure something out. But like I think it's either he's on the Patriots, a 5% chance he's the quarterback for the Washington football team. And besides that, he's going to either be a backup or he's going to just be a free agent and wait on someone to get hurt. But,
dude, that is a word that a sentence I never thought I'd hear. Cam Newton is a backup quarterback.
Right. Yeah.
What?
That makes sense. I've heard Derrick Carr is about to be extended. And if you had told me that, 6 months ago, not 6 months ago, 3 months ago, Derrick Carr gets hurt. He hurts his groin. Marcus Mariota comes in and plays well. And everyone said, hey, maybe Marcus Mariota's the guy. And then I was hearing, oh, well, maybe they're going to try to trade Derrick Carr. And then I kept hearing, well, maybe teams are going to trade for Mariota to be their starting quarterback. But there's a thing in Mariota's contract where if he's your starting quarterback, you got to pay him $17 million. So he's not getting paid that much. So it's like if he gets traded and you start him, you got to up his salary. So teams are like, okay, we don't want to do that. And then I think the Raiders said, hey, I think Derrick Carr is our guy. Now, that would change if, Russell Wilson is actually on the market or Deshaun Watson is on the market. But if they can't trade for either of those guys, I think Derrick Carr gets extended. I don't think his contract's huge, but I think it's a good contract. I mean, he's better than, whatever Jared Goff got paid. Derrick Carr is better than Jared Goff. He's like the upgraded Jared Goff. That's why I look at him. He's more mobile, he's more accurate, and he can take just about as many shots. But no homo. But they're I don't know if that's the answer, but I think that's what they're gonna do.
Okay.
Garoppolo, I have no clue. No clue.
Yeah, no, we don't know about Garoppolo. Do you think that he is as good as his Super Bowl run would tell you? Like if we say this quarterback took this team to the Super Bowl, and you think usually, I mean, that must be a good quarterback or even a really good quarterback. Do you think that his reputation he'll live up to his reputation?
I don't think he has any kind of reputation right now. I really don't. Like, I think, yes, he took his team to Super Bowl in the sense that Joe Flacco took his team to a Super Bowl. Like, there is nothing against it. I don't think Garoppolo has a chance to take any other NFL football team to the Super Bowl besides the San Francisco 49ers. But at the same time, he's on the 49ers. So they've already been to the Super Bowl. He overthrew a guy, basically could have maybe sealed the deal. So he's good enough. He's not great. Anyone says he's great, he's not great. But he's good. He doesn't suck. Like, he can make the throws, he can make the plays. And that team is a run first offense. It's a electric run first offense. And they throw a bunch of screens, which basically just glorified runs for Deebo Samuel. Brandon Ayuk has looked really good. George Kittle is a elite tight end, and he's best at running after the catch. Like, he just breaks freaking tackles. Deebo Samuel breaks so many tackles. Raheem Mostert, you give him the ball, and it's like there's a chance for an 80-yard run because he's just so quick. So, like, unless they can fully upgrade, they're not getting rid of him. But no, he's not. He's not like an elite quarterback. He's not even a really good quarterback.
Yeah. Do you think I want to do this now, but I think we should wait for another episode because I want to go through each division and predict winners. But I kind of want to wait until after free agency. When does free agency end?
I don't know. Dude, NFL free agency doesn't make any sense. I genuinely don't know. Like, there's dates.
I know, it's so wild.
Are terrible. I'll look up the official NFL free agent dates because these literally don't make any sense. Dates.
So
let's see what we got here.
But yeah, going through, I definitely want to predict the division winners because I think that we'll have some different teams than obviously some different teams than last year, but looking at the teams now, it seems like it would be the same for the teams that won their division this year versus the teams that will win next year because the Bills will still be the best team in the AFC East. The Ravens will likely be, the Ravens barely made by the skin of their teeth, but the Browns could come take over. Depending on what the Steelers will do. Dude, what do you think the Steelers are going to do about their quarterback situation? I think that they're going to restructure Ben Roethlisberger's deal, but do they try to seek out for a QB? Do they try to get another QB? Like, what is going to go on there?
First of all, free agency, I think, starts March 17th. They can start negotiating. They can start negotiating the 15th, but they can officially sign the 17th. The Steelers, they're gonna redo his contract. They're gonna try to make it where they're paying him a significantly less salary than he is, but they're gonna give him a bunch of bonuses. That's basically what's gonna happen. That's what happens in the NFL. It's just like every year, someone restructures. They don't pay them less. They just pay them differently. It's the weirdest thing, but if they could trade for a quarterback, I'm sure they would. But I think they let it ride. Let it ride with Big Ben one more year. They have Dwayne Haskins in there. I'm sure they're going to look at some rookie quarterbacks. Maybe they try to make a trade where they get a higher rookie pick next year, something like that. I don't know. But I think they're going to let it ride with him. Look for them to draft a running back early and figure out a run game. Possibly.
That'd be great.
Possibly the running back from Alabama. And that would make sense. They haven't been able to run the ball at all. That was the last year. We all thought Big Ben was trash because they couldn't run the ball and they only threw 3-yard passes. And partially that's on him, but partially it's because they can't run the ball. It's hard to throw the ball when the team knows for a fact you're throwing the ball. They're just going to blitz you. And if that happens, you can only really throw short routes. And Big Ben wasn't taking shots, and he took some shots at the end of the season, and they worked, but he wasn't comfortable doing that. So I don't know, but I think that's their only bet. They don't seem to pay people crazy amount. They'll pay like 4 or 5 guys a lot of money, but everyone else like, yeah, we can just let it go. Like they're probably gonna let go of Juju. It's gonna happen. They're not gonna be able to pay him, and even though he says he wants to be a Steeler, I don't know if he really does. I don't know.
I mean, to be honest, one thing that I am jealous of as a Pats fan for the Steelers, they find receivers out of the woodwork. I don't know where they find these guys. I don't know where they come from. I don't know how they sniff them out. Do they just be like, do they have the secret receiver serum to know if a guy is going to be good or not? But they're so good at finding receivers, especially. Defense, Steelers will always have a good defense, and they'll always find some weapons on the outside. So if they do get rid of Juju or not re-sign him or whatever, I'm sure that they'll find somebody else tomorrow. They could just do it because that's apparently what they're good at doing. As far as like a quarterback situation, obviously Mason Rudolph's not your guy. I don't think Dwayne Haskins will be your guy for the future. So you get another year of Big Ben with that still very good defense. Would the Steelers, I guess, would they try to win? And if that's the case, then wouldn't you try to go all in, try to get that running back, somebody that can carry the ball, take some of the pressure off of Big Ben, and then just try to go all in? Because this is basically the end of Big Ben. Whether it be this year, we thought it could possibly be last year. If it's going to be the year after next, we're looking at the end of Big Ben pretty much. Will they try to go for it? Go for the Super Bowl?
I mean, I think they will. I don't know if it's possible. It sounds crazy. Team's 11-0. And if I told you, hey, you're going to be in place to draft a guy like Najee Harris in the first round, and that'll make your run game 100 times better than it was last year. Get a lineman here and there, and your defense should get back to where it kind of was. Like a lot of the guys got hurt at the end of the year. But no, I don't think they have a chance. I think they're going to go for it, but I don't think it's really going to happen. I think they're the third best team in their division next year. Ooh. So, like, I don't know, but I'm sure they're going to go for it. If you're telling me we're going to bring back Big Ben, you better go for it. Like, what are you going to do? If that's not the case, then go get a rookie. Go try to trade for Sam Darnold and see if he has it. Go maybe start Dwayne Haskins. I don't know. Like, just give someone a chance to figure it out. If you're not going to go for it, because I'm Big Ben, it tells me you're going all
in. All right. Looking at the draft a little bit before we move on to NBA. What do you think the order of the quarterbacks is going to go in? Because I feel like we're going to be surprised on draft night as far as teams picking. So we got the Jaguars are number 1, correct?
Yeah.
Jags number 1, Jets number 2, right?
Jags, Jets, and then we have Bengals.
Mm-hmm.
Falcons, right?
Yeah, I can find it. But talk to me, quarterbacks.
I think from what Trevor Lawrence is going first, and anyone tells you that Trevor Lawrence is not going first, I mean, they're just wrong. It's okay. You can tell them to do better next time. They're wrong on this one. Yeah. So Trevor Lawrence, number 1, lock of the century. But I think Zach Wilson goes number 2. I think Zach Wilson is the second quarterback off the board. I think Justin Fields is 3rd. I think what's his name? Locke. His name?
Locke, yeah.
Yeah. The North Dakota State guy. Locke is gonna be the 4th guy, and then you have the Heisman like runner-up, and Mac gonna be the 5th quarterback off the board. I think that's pretty safe. I don't know why that Zach Wilson just took over for Justin Fields. I don't really agree with that. Like, I get where they're coming from. To me, I see Zach Wilson as like I'm not saying he's a project, but he's like an upgraded what Jordan Love was. Like he's definitely better and he's definitely more NFL ready, but it's the same concept. It's like the reasons why you would go after Jordan Love are the same reasons you go after Zach Wilson. He can make every throw, like every throw. But the NFL it's different now. You know, Justin Fields can run the ball. Now, you did see him in a playoff game, you know, get a little nicked up, get hit pretty hard. And if you run and you get hit, it's not going to last. Like that's the thing we've learned is if you're Lamar Jackson and you figure out how not to get hit, maybe you can run for a while. But you saw Kyler Murray get hurt running the football. Like Josh Allen can run because he's just ginormous. But if you can't take the hits or just strictly avoid hits, it's going to be tough. I like Justin Fields a lot, but from what I've heard, the NFL is all over Zach Wilson at number 2.
Interesting. No, I've heard
Jets take him.
Dude, I've heard Justin Fields can fall as far as number 10, which I didn't think that would be the case. Just coming off of the end of the college football year. So Jacksonville, Jets, Dolphins, Falcons. I think 3 quarterbacks are gone. Out of those 4 picks, 3 quarterbacks have to be gone because I don't think that the Falcons keep Matt Ryan. So those 3 guys will be gone early. I would be highly surprised if that were not to be the case.
Okay. When I said lock, I meant Trey Lance. I don't know why we got
Lance.
That. Trey Lance. Trey Lance is the 4th guy. I don't know why I said that.
I was thinking about Drew Lock.
Drew Lock, he sucks.
No boy, crazy.
But like he knows some rap songs, so that'll keep you around for a little bit.
That Jeezy.
So the NFL, you said 3. You said 3 of the 4.
I think 3 out of the first 4 picks. I think 3 quarterbacks are gone.
Okay. Wait, does
Miami has
Miami?
3. Do they draft a quarterback? That'd be nuts. Bengals are 5.
Bengals are 5.
Yeah. They could get another weapon for my boy.
Justin Fields is available at 3 for Miami. That's something to think about.
I think they take him and then trade Tua?
I love Tua. I really do. But this is going to be your last chance to have a top 5 pick. Like you weren't given a top 5 pick unless Bill O'Brien threw you a 1st round pick for Laramie Tunsil and it turned into this. So you were gifted this.
Shout out to Bill O'Brien.
What are you gonna do with it? So it's for real. I love Bill O'Brien. Like, you know how many times I'd be like watching a Colts Texans game and be like, all right, there's like 2 minutes left. They can run out the clock, but they're probably not gonna run out the clock. It'd be like it's 2nd and 4, and they have Deshaun Watson throwing like a fade route. I'm like, what is happening? Anyway, he's something else. But you're gifted that chance, so it's like it's a hey. You can go get the best receiver in the draft. You can go get the best tight end in the draft. You can go get the best lineman in the draft. Help your quarterback, or you can get his replacement. So, like, we're gonna know a lot about how Miami feels about Tua on that 3rd pick. What I think they should do is trade back. Just trade back. Trade to 6. Trade to 6. Say, hey, like if anyone wants to do this, like I'm cool with it because the Bengals, I think, are going to draft the lineman, Sewell, and I think the Falcons want a quarterback. And if the Dolphins don't want a quarterback, then just move back.
Yeah,
get more assets. I mean, they already have. I know they have like amazing draft capital, but if you believe in Tua, but you don't think he's amazing, then you need a bunch of pieces around him. So just keep stacking up draft capital and make it work.
All right, moving on to the National Basketball Association. Do you want to start with some? We're gonna start with some All-Stars, and then we'll talk about like the standings, what's going on with certain teams or whatever. So All-Star, where we left off, we had some predictions for the All-Star reserves with Senor Calbear. I think we hit them. We debated some guys, whether some guys got in. The guys that did end up getting in. So Zach LaVine, Julius Randle. Who else got in? I wish I had the list. Why didn't I have the list
for the East? Well, KD got in, and then Sabonis took his spot.
Right.
You had Trae Young did not get in. You know, Tatum and Brown both got in. Bam didn't get in. I don't think Butler did.
Bam did not.
Vucevic got in.
Yeah, my boy, Vooch.
Let me see. And there was always a couple more. The most surprising one was probably LaVine. I didn't think he no. When I will say on this show, I literally said when I picked Trae Young to get in, I looked at it and I said, you know, LaVine has a better case than Trae Young. And I didn't know 100% if Trae Young should have gone in, but LaVine actually had a better case. And shout out to y'all for voting for LaVine because I think he deserved it. It just surprised me that he got it.
Indeed. I honestly have changed my mind on LaVine. LaVine has been pretty much balling out. Like, I didn't watch that many Bulls games. I see his stat line. Like, he'd shoot maybe like 8 for 14, or he'd have a 7 for 14 game. I mean, he's been shooting great. He's been shooting lights out from 3. He's been making mid-range shots. Obviously, we know about his hops. He had that historically great dunk contest versus Aaron Gordon. So he's been flying through the air. They just hadn't been winning games, but the Bulls have actually come up. I think that they're in the 6th seed right now. So yeah, I'm happy that I was wrong about that. Yeah.
Me too. He's been like, I've probably watched him watched a full game of the Bulls play more this year than I've seen since D-Rose. Like, this is like already like I don't watch Bulls games because they haven't been good. Like, I watch, you know, 3 minutes here, 5 minutes here, it's clips. But LaVine's amazing. LaVine's pulling up in your face. He's crossing you over. He literally can get to the rim at will and not like dunk on you, like finesse layup. Like,
anything.
This dude's rat game is crazy. I'm just like, okay. He draws hella fouls and he's leading the team. Like, this is him and like Kobe White and Wendell Carter and Ryan Arcidiacono. Like, you know, there's something to this. He is balling.
He is balling, man. To go through the list, Brown, Harden, LaVine, Randall, Ben Simmons, which we'll talk about, Tatum, and Vucevic, and of course Sabonis taking the spot of Kevin Durant, who's injured. First, Tatum. Do you think that Tatum should have replaced KD as the starter? Do you think that it should have been someone else, possibly?
Oh, is Sabonis starting?
No. Sabonis is basically inserted in for Tatum because they moved Tatum up for Kevin Durant. Okay. Yeah. Do you think that Tatum
should be starting?
Yeah, should be starting
over the rest of the field.
To start,
like, we're not saying over KD. We're saying you're asking, should Tatum have been the guy that replaced KD?
Right. They had to replace a forward. So the forwards are basically Julius Randle, Jason Tatum, Nikola Vucevic.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's correct. I think the other option was probably his teammate, and I think Tatum deserves it over him. Lately, he has ish. Yeah, I'd give it to Tatum. I think there's an argument for one of those two guys, and I think if you asked Jalen, No, I'm not gonna do that. It's close. I'd give it
Yeah.
to Tatum though.
I think that they voted Brown in as a guard, and only for
Yeah,
that reason. Brown
yeah.
shouldn't get the
I
spot only because Tatum is, I guess, the forward.
I think Tatum, like I think Brown should have received more votes than Tatum this year for an All-Star because of the early part of the year. But then at this point, when it's who to replace the guy for the All-Star game, when they're both in the All-Star game, I think Tatum's a better bet. But yeah, I think Jaylen Brown like deserved more All-Star votes than Tatum, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. Okay.
Just currently how he's playing.
Right. Yeah. No. Going on to the West, Anthony Davis, Paul George, Rudy Gobert, the Dirty Rudy, Damian Lillard, Donovan Mitchell, CP3, Zion Williamson. What name did you not hear? Devin Booker. But Devin Booker gets in because they get the cop out from an injury from Anthony Davis. Do you think D-Book should have gotten it? We did. We are talking about another guy, and Brandon Ingram, who have gotten in. But yes, do you think D-Book should have gotten in? And if you think he should have got in, who over who?
Why did anyone on earth say, hey, we're going to vote in a Sun? And it's not Devin Booker, it's Chris Paul. Come on. Like, I get it. Devin Booker was hurt and the Suns. Stop. Devin Booker should not have to wait for an injury to get in. He should. That's an all-star. That's an all-star. Like 100%. Chris Paul. Let's let Chris Paul get in when AD gets hurt. But not the other way around. Come on.
Dude, I 100% agree. I think that D-Book should have been in. Yes, if there was going to be a Sun, it should have been Devin Booker. Now, Chris Paul, I think he's averaging like 19 and 7. He has contributed.
The league loves that number. The league loves 19 and 7. Steve Nash damn near won it. He won an MVP over Kobe, who averaged 35 with 19 and 7. So maybe that's still like a lucky number. I don't know.
Apparently. But yes, no, he has made lifted the floor of this team. This team they're in the playoffs. Like, this would be the first time the Suns have been in the playoffs probably since Steve Nash. But yeah, if there was going to be a guy in there, it should have definitely been Devin Booker. Let CP3 get in once Anthony Davis gets hurt, because we knew Anthony. Yeah, we knew he was going to be hurt.
Yeah, that's what it's like everyone's acting like, oh, Devin Booker got it. I'm like, no, we knew he was going to eventually get in with it. But it's like, if you know that, you have an extra spot. Like, give the guy who actually deserved it. It makes more sense. But here's the thing about Devin Booker. Like, you can look at it two ways. And you can say maybe Devin Booker couldn't win before Chris Paul. And, like, Chris Paul has helped him get to this point. But if you watch the NBA in the bubble, the Suns had a physical chance to make the playoffs if some teams lost some games, and they won all their games. They didn't get some losses from some teams. But Devin Booker said, hey, the team is on my back. I'm going to win this game. I'm going to win all 8. I'm going to hit a turnaround fadeaway game winner on Kawhi Leonard. Like, this dude can ball. Like, we stop disrespecting. Like, he's not the most, like, disrespected player in the league or anything, but, like, as all-stars, he's an all-star. Like, that's easy to see.
No, 100%. All right, so obviously they're going to do basically the playground style. You get a pick, I get a pick. Wait a second. Before we get to that, with Kevin Durant being hurt, with him not being in the game, will he still be choosing the picks?
Really good question. Who was the second vote getter?
In the East, probably Kyrie.
Embiid, one of those two.
One of those two.
It would make sense for him not to pick the team that he's not on. I'm sure they would say, hey, KD, do you still want to pick? And he's like, oh, I didn't think that was really an option. And let someone else pick. Because he's not, like, it's not his team. Like, he's not playing at all, Like, whoever's picking wants to pick a team. But if it's Kyrie, Yeah, I mean, I'm sure KD would be perfectly fine with Kyrie picking his own team. But it would be interesting if it's Embiid and it's like, all right, what are you gonna do about it, KD? Are you gonna try to be because he could easily say, I still want to pick.
Right.
I don't think he should, but no one's gonna tell KD no.
Right. Okay. Well,
They are
KD,
doing
let's say
the Kobe style. They're doing the
Elam
point, like you
ending.
go the Elam ending. They're going to was like 24 points at the end of it, whenever fourth quarter.
Indeed, indeed. Well, what these teams set at what they are, East versus West. If it was East versus West, like I said, they're going to be picking guys. It's going to be separate. But if it were where it was at, who do you think has the best team, the East or the West?
I think I'll still ride with the West. I think it's interesting because AD's hurt, but KD's hurt. So yeah, I think it's the West. I mean, you got LeBron James, you're the best player in the game, and the other team doesn't have the second best player in the game. You have Kawhi, who's top 10, top 8, Jokic, top 8, Steph Curry, top 8. Like, yeah, I think that makes more sense. But it is interesting because I know we have Jokic, I know we have Gobert, but I still don't know who can guard Joel Embiid. And I don't know how you guard Joel Embiid and Giannis with Harden and Kyrie on the same. That doesn't seem very possible. Because
No,
you build a wall against Giannis. That's great. When the next best player is Chris Middleton. When you give him these dudes, there ain't no wall being built. He's dunking on you like this is one-on-one. He is yamming on you. So it is something.
70%.
70, 90. This dude ain't gonna miss. But yeah, I think I still take. Here's what I'm gonna say: the West is better. The West team is better. The East may have more advantages, like the Giannis and Embiid, but I think the West team is better at basketball. Like, you're telling me that Devin Booker is your last All-Star?
Yeah, I think that I could build a team in the East that would compete and or possibly beat the West. With their starters, like if I were to, I can keep Kyrie. I would insert Harden into the starting lineup over Bill, even though Bill, I mean, he's obviously a baller, but I would insert Harden into the starting lineup. I would put Ben Simmons as my 3. I think he'd be running like my guard, either him or Harden. But he would be my 3 to like guard LeBron. And then my 4 would be Giannis, and my 5 would be Embiid. And I think that would be a tough task for the West. Whatever picks of Western players
for LeBron, Jokic, Steph, Kawhi Leonard, and either Dame or Luka.
A lot of firepower, but I think we got the right mix of firepower and defense because Kyrie's not being stopped. Harden's not being stopped. Ben Simmons don't have to take shots away from anybody, and he can just D up on someone. Giannis, excellent defender. Embiid can't be stopped, excellent defender.
Yeah,
I think that would be a good mix.
I got something to tell you. You know how Jamal Murray and Jokic they just work so well together.
Yeah.
You know who's better than Jamal Murray? This dude. His name's Steph Curry. Steph Curry and Jokic on the same court. Sign me the fuck up. Holy shit. That is elite. That's perfect. That's fucking perfect.
It would be beautiful. But no, I'm excited. I'm excited to see how it shakes out. But real quick, we'll take a look at the standings and we'll get out of here. So in the East, Sixers, Nets, Bucks, Raptors, all the way back up to 4. They were at like 11 at one point. Holy smoke. The Heat as well. They were in the dumps. They're in the 5th spot. Celtics under 500 in the 6th spot, a 16-17 record. Knicks still holding on to a playoff spot. Didn't see that one coming.
No.
The Pacers in 8th, 9th. The boy Zach LaVine has pulled the Bulls up to the 9th spot. They were in the 6th spot, but they lost the game, so they dropped down. The Hornets. The Hornets in 10. Are the Hornets the most fun team to watch right now? I mean, Scary Terry, 20 points on dang near 50% shooting. LaMelo Ball playing like the rookie of the year that he is. And Gordon Hayward, he was basically like the throwaway of the Celtics, another great player that the Celtics have thrown away, maybe a player that they need right now. He's been playing out of his mind. And then it's just a ragtag team of guys that have just know their position and they're playing hard. It's been wild. Going further down, Hawks in 11, they've been a disappointment. Wizards were the worst team in the East, I guess, right above the Pistons, but they've been on a streak. I think they've won 4 or 5 games. Yeah, they're coming. They are coming.
That is a team that I think started off that bad and is going to make the playoffs. Like, I think they're going to be in the play-in tournament. I don't think it's even a question. They figured out how to play together, and they got some role players healthy, but the role players aren't great. Like, you got like Bertans, you got a couple of guys. Rui Hachimura is pretty good. Like, you got some players, but they're playing hard and they're playing defense right now, which is something they just weren't doing the last 3 years in Washington. So it's nice to see.
Yep. Bottom of the East, the Magic and 13, Cavs and 14, Pistons and 15. I think those 2 bottom feeders will stay there. I am interested to see how this is going to shake out because the Magic always make the playoffs, man.
I know, but I do. Hey, so Vucevic, he has these good numbers, and we were saying he's the best player on his team, and he's leading his team to what, the 13th seed? That's an all-star? 13th seed? But the Heat have no all-stars. Okay, I just wondered. The Pacers didn't have an all-star before Sabonis. Okay, and the Hawks have no all. The Knicks have 1 all-star. Okay, but the Magic got an all-star. I don't know why.
They had to throw in the center, man. Look, the worst thing, or not the worst thing, they did it for good reason, taking the center spot and just changing to a forward spot. They did that because the center position had gotten weak. But I really do respect centers. I think that if we do have centers,
centers are amazing.
They should be in there. So I'm with the Vucevic pick. But
who's basically a center though?
They got one.
Bam Adebayo is a center. He's a center.
Oh, yeah, true.
He's amazing.
Fair point. All right, to the West, Jazz still holding on to that number 1 spot. Clips in 2, Lakers in 3, Suns in 4. That may stay the same. The Lakers been dealing with some issues. We will talk about the Lakers in a future episode. Spurs in 5. Who saw that one coming? Trailblazers 6. Warriors 7 made their way up to the 7th spot. Amazing. Nuggets. What a fall from grace. Still over 500, 17 and 15 in the 8th spot. Mavs making their way into the play-in spot at 9. The Grizzlies holding on to their play-in spot at 10. So the Pelicans, they're a team that we predict that will make the playoffs or a play-in. Thunder, Kings, Rockets, Timberwolves. Timberwolves are done. Rockets, done. Kings, they just don't have enough. Thunder, they play hard, but they're trying to tank, or at least that's what Sam Presti wants. The team doesn't want to tank, but that's what Sam Presti wants. So out of the top 11 teams, one of these teams are going to be out. Do you think that it will be – who do you think it'll be? Who do you think will hold on to those top 10 spots?
Where are the Pelicans right now?
Pelicans are the 11th team right now. Okay. The Grizzlies are 10.
I don't think the Grizzlies are gonna stay at 10. Now at the beginning of the year, I wasn't really all in on the Pelicans. I think I had them at maybe 10 or 11. So that's what they're at right now. But they're playing differently. Like they're trying on defense. Stan Van Gundy has them playing good. Zion's playing amazing. Ingram's playing amazing. Lonzo's hitting threes. Like it's working now. Like it really is. So I think they do make the playoffs over the Grizzlies. The thing with the Rockets, if Christian Wood gets healthy tomorrow, which I don't know how long he's out, they haven't really. It's been like a week or 2 or 3 weeks. Like they haven't really given a firm timetable. That team with Christian Wood is a playoff team. And the Spurs are, I just don't know. Like I don't, I don't really believe in that. So, like, I think the Spurs could have a chance to lose it. I think the Grizzlies have a chance to lose it. I think the Pelicans have a chance to get in. And like I said, the Rockets, if Christian Wood's healthy, they're in there. I think they got a chance at it.
Yeah, I'm with it. I think
Timberwolves,
that
other teams just don't have a chance. They don't have any chance. They're just not there.
nah. I think the Spurs will be the party poopers. Nobody wants to see them in, but DeMar DeRozan is a hooper. LaMarcus Aldridge got to figure out his spot, and they're of course amazingly coached. And they do have some hoopers on there. Well, Lonnie Walker Jr., DeJounte Murray. They have some hoopers on that team. So
really good.
Whew, yeah, absolutely. But that is all we have for you. Thank you for listening. If you're on Twitter, follow us at GaZcast. If you want to talk to us while we're watching games and stuff, hit up the Locker Room app. Download the Locker Room app. We're on there. We just talk to whoever, and we're probably going to upload some of those as some podcast episodes. But stay tuned for all that and more. Thank you for your support. Thanks for listening. We out. Peace.
See y'all.